Hi, all. I'm Tony Frank. Welcome to Cybersecurity Awareness Month. We're on week number 4 for Cybersecurity First. We're going to prioritize cybersecurity in our daily lives. Um, the reason I'm saying that I'm Tony Frank, I'm with the Office of Information Security. Please go check our website. You'll see I'm the guy with the smiley face by his name. From the office. The reason I say this is because I'm going to tell you a lot repeatedly, verify what you see, verify the source that is telling it to you, and go check. Please go check on me. That's fun. I could be just some rogue dude weirdly on campus, taking up people's space. Today we're going to go over cyber hygiene. The reason I bring up these ads right here or these comics right here is I can't make, no matter what firewall, what encryption, what antivirus that I give you, if you willingly let the bad guy in, there's nothing that I can do in cybersecurity to stop this from going bad. Your password is like a toothbrush. Choose a good one. Don't share it with anybody, and change it every now and again. Just say it. You haven't had the same toothbrush for it. Put it that way. If you've had your password long, you've had your toothbrush, change your password. Pretty please. Um, Things that I want you to do is just because someone tells you to log on or log off a computer, don't. Verify who that is. Caller IDs can be spoofed. Use your two-factor authentication. We give it to you for free. And financial and HR people positively confirm who you're emailing and who you are talking to. We'd like to not have any incidents. Last time on our InfoSec talks, we covered these, so I don't have to cover these to death. I'm just going to go over use strong passwords as per the university, 16 characters, uppercase, lowercase, have a special character, and have numbers. Turn on your MFA, it's free. Don't just click on your MFA if you didn't do anything. Recognize phishing, and then update your software. If you have software, update it. Today, we're going to go over how we put cybersecurity first. We're going to go over securing our Wi-Fi. We're going to go over best practices for safe browsing habits. We're going to go over how we back up, and we're going to go how we monitor our digital footprint. Um, so, for this one, we're going to start off with use strong encryption. The reason I say, and this is for setting up your Wi-Fi at home or at work if that's what you do in your job responsibility. When I say that, I want you to look over here. So WPA3, WPA2, and WPA are the only ones I actually want you to use. I actually want you to use WPA3, but that's not on every device that's out there at this moment. So if you don't have that one, use WPA2. Even on the Wi-Fi we're on right now, we're on 2. The reason I want you to use 2 is you can look at it that it's a harder thing to crack. It has more security and it has better identification for that person. It takes somebody a longer time to break into that Wi-Fi. The second thing I'm going to tell you about in your Wi-Fi network is I want you to separate your guest network. You have the ability to make multiple SSIDs, make a guest one, and then turn on AP isolation in that one so that these things don't talk to each other. What AP isolation does, which is just going to be a checkbox in when you're setting up that one, it says that computers inside this network can't talk to each other. They can only talk to the internet and out. The third one, which I am guilty of not doing myself, is hide your network name. So once you've set up your wireless network, you can go back into your setup prompt and it will have a little box that says show SSID. You can unclick that one and then it will no longer be it will be broadcast as in the Wi-Fi will be there, but it won't announce itself. So if that person does not already have it pre-configured when they're doing searching for Wi-Fi, they won't see yours. That's the easiest way to not have a problem. Next I'm going to tell you is protect that Wi-Fi with a VPN, and I mean that by both at your house and if you're at Starbucks. So the way this VPN is going to work is your VPN client right here is going to make an encrypted tunnel to the VPN server. I can't tell you specifically which one to use at this moment. I can tell you Proton is a very good VPN. I can tell you Nord is a very good VPN. I roll my own with the router at my house, but however you choose to get there, that sends an encrypted tunnel from you to the VPN server that your computer does not allow anything else to come in contact with it. So say we're at a Starbucks. That means that nobody else at that Starbucks can get into you or give you or take data from that because it's an encrypted tunnel that they don't have the encryption to. Then that goes from that VPN server, wherever it's at. Say you need to change the location of where it thinks you're at. You can log into it. Most of these providers have servers all across the world and all throughout the country so that you can come out from Texas or you can come out from Norway. Depends on what you were trying to do to the website that you want to go to. I mean, some people do it for Netflix just so they can see the things that they want to do. I've known people who've done this for the Olympics and come out to the UK so that they can watch the Olympics without having to. I actually have a friend that has done this for BBC TV just so they can watch Doctor Who when it comes out. And I'm like, really, bro? They really like Doctor Who a whole lot. Um, that's the silly uses you can use it for, but the main use of that VPN is so that nobody can get your data. So that you can go to Starbucks, hit your VPN connection, and know that you're only talking from you to your bank. The fourth thing, or the fifth thing here is use a firewall both at your house and, I mean, I use a portable one when I go out to places. Firewall is a company that makes a small one, and we're going to see here what a firewall does. It takes restricted and approved traffic. So a firewall says, if nobody on the inside of this network has requested something, don't send it back this way. So all it does is make sure that every traffic that's coming into your network was by somebody inside of your network. Now, is that foolproof? No, but does it cut off 90% of the vectors somebody could come into your stuff? It's kind of like locking your front door. All right, and so I'm completely guilty of this one. The sixth one, I don't do. I can tell you it's a smart thing to do. I can also tell you I have way too many IoT things at my house that I'm never, there's never going to be a time when my Wi-Fi is not in use. But if there is a time where your Wi-Fi isn't in use, turn it off. And the Asus ones I know and the Netgear ones I know have a straight off button. Would that annoy the snot out of me? Yes, it would, because I'd have to go to my kitchen to go turn on the Wi-Fi, and I'm sure 3 people in my house would cuss me out. And there's only 3 people in my house, so I'm gonna cuss myself out, so let's not do that. But it is the smarter of the decisions. I just want to make sure I'm honest with you and tell you things that I don't personally do. Um, So this is for this slide, we're just going over, here's what the encryption levels look like for those different encryption levels for your Wi-Fi. That's what a firewall does, and that's what a VPN does. If you have any questions, all right, cool, cool, cool. All right, for our second step of this, we're gonna go over safe web browsing tips. And I think they got tired of me saying this at the last one, but it's still true. Update all your stuff. When I say update all your stuff, I update my car. Now, granted, I do drive a Tesla, so I do need to update my car. The reason that we update is on the dark web, they have repositories of old hacks that work on older updates. So the first thing that an attacker does when they get in your network or they're looking to get at you is scan to see what version your stuff is on, which it's going to tell them what version it is. And if it's on an older version, I can just go to that giant repository of, well, what works on the older, what breaks it, what works on the older version. I can look that one up, and then I have a straight attack to get past whatever's in there, which is why I'm telling you, update, update, update. I literally have an update Monday where everything in my house, including the window blinds, will update themselves. Use a safe browser. This is one of the things I can tell you. The university recommends Google Chrome or Firefox as safe browsers. I'm not saying Safari isn't a bad browser. I'm just saying if you want the most secure browser, currently that's going to be Google Chrome. Well, I actually prefer, if we're looking at this list has both Vivaldi and Brave. I prefer Brave as a browser, but that's me, and it lets me put in the shortcuts that I like, so that's why I like that browser. Now, if you use the Opera browser, which is on this list as well, the Opera browser comes with a built-in VPN. I'm going to tell you to turn on to block pop-ups. This is what And I know I'm Mac centric. This is what it looks like on the Mac when you tell it to block a pop-up. Yes, sir.
So these pictures of web browsers, is, is this an onion?
Yes, that's for the Tor browser, the security onion. Tor browser is a dark web browser that is what you're going to need to go to the Tor network so that you can go into the dark web. I'm going to have to now preface this with, don't go to the dark web. There ain't nothing good. There ain't nothing there that you want to see. There's nothing good there. I go there a lot. I promise you. There's only nightmare fuel there. Um, but yeah, so going back to pop-ups, that's what it looks like on a Mac to turn off your pop-ups. On each of the individual browsers, they'll have a spot that where it'll say turn off pop-ups. And when I say that, I don't want you to not have pop-ups, because you'll see that on this one, I have SAP marked as allow in the pop-ups, because we go to SAP and it will force you to use pop-ups against your will. But it is still a business tool that we at the university use. So I'm telling you, there's no, if you need to go to it, we can go back into the settings and allow it for the things that we absolutely have to. But other than that, when have you ever gotten a pop-up that has made your life any bit better? When somebody finds that for me, I will then change my mind on it. Till then, that's what we're doing. I'm going to tell you to use HTTP S links over HTTP links, because one is encrypted, one is not. One has an SSL certification. That means we know who we're talking to. One does not. One could be something that I just spun up in a server in my closet. Now, granted, if I get the certification correctly, I can also get the S on it, but I would at least have to have gone through somebody to prove that I'm an actual business and not just a robber sitting there online. And I'm going to tell you, which I cannot recommend one to you, use an ad blocker. If you'll look at the bottom of this one, you'll see uBlock Origin, Ad Blocker Pro, and that garbage one that they put on Internet Explorer. Yes, I have hate for Internet Explorer. That's just what life is. I, I like Ad Blocker Plus. The university tells me I cannot say which one, because we don't have one that we actually tell you to use, but I'm telling you to get an ad blocker. Will it annoy you at certain times? Yes. There will be certain websites that'll be like, you need to turn off your ad blocker. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm not doing business with you today. Because I like my ad blocker more than whatever they're selling. And I promise you, somebody who does not do that has a site for it. But that's just me. The next one I'm going to tell you is a weird one. It's going to be back up your data regularly. When I say that, I'm going to teach you the 3-2-1 method for backup. If it's important to you, like if it's actually important, if it's your pictures of your children, if it's your banking information, I truly suggest getting an Iron Wolf drive. They have a nice little USB that's supposed to be bulletproof drive that you can get, and it's somewhere around a terabyte. Everything that you think about it this way: if you're leaving for a hurricane, what data can you not live without? Put it on that, and put that in somewhere easily accessible, because as a Louisianian, there have been many times where I've had to leave for a hurricane and there's been data that I've needed to go. Now, as a Louisianian, am I smart enough to leave during a hurricane? Probably not. We got problems. But I'm going to teach you the 3-2-1 method, which is, if you care about it, have 3 copies of that. Have those copies on at least 2 types of storage. Could be a USB drive. It could be one of those plug-in flash drives. It could be a NAS. It could be a DAS. It could be a different machine. But have 2 different things that it's on. And if you truly care about it, make sure you have an off-site copy. The best one I can tell you is, and I promise you, I do not get any money for advertising for Jeff Bezos, but Amazon Glacier is a weird setup where it's really cheap. It's pennies on the terabyte to put 2 Amazon Glacier. Now, granted, they're going to rob you a little bit when you need to get the data back from them, but I want you to think about this one of, okay, but if I actually needed to get that data back, I was in a situation where I'm okay with paying them to get that data back. So my bill for somewhere around 40 terabytes of data per month is less than $5. Now, granted, if I ever request that data back, they go hit me for about $500. but that's the deal that I'm making with them. Another thing that I do is I share storage with other friends of mine over a VPN tunnel that happens in the middle of the night where I back up data to their drives, they back up data to my drives. That way, if either of our houses burn down, I still got all my data without having to give Amazon that money. Now, do I still give Amazon that money? Yes, it's $5. And all my wife's baby pictures of my daughter are saved in that one, and so I don't have to worry about her going insane if the house were to burn down. And I think this year I've almost burnt it down like twice with a brisket. Pro tip, if you're going to put the brisket in the oven, make sure that you clean it before you use the oven again. I'm just saying, I might have had some issues. Our 5 common causes of data loss are going to be hardware failure because hardware fails. If you now have new SSD drives, let me remind you, SSD drives only can be written to so many times, and then it's just going to stop. It now has taken me 5 years before I've seen one just stop, but I've actually seen one just stop, and it was a bad day. Software glitches. Software ain't perfect. Things happen and it forgets. Can I recover from a software glitch? Probably. But I want to make sure that that I'm not betting everything on trying to get this off of a weird hard drive when if I did the 3-2-1 method, I can just go online, find where my file is, pull that one down, and go about my day. Human error. Hate to say it, I've deleted things by accident before. I'm pretty sure everybody has deleted something by accident before. Next is going to be cyber attack, mainly ransomware, which that's the best prevention of ransomware is to have good backups. If you have good backups and they crypto lock all your stuff, oh darn. I'm mad. I got to reset everything, but I have an offsite one that I can pull from, and now I ain't got to pay somebody to get my own stuff back. And then, as I was going over before, natural disasters. Hurricanes happens, wildfires happens. I believe every place in this country has some issue. Now, granted, if the Yellowstone supervolcano happens, well, I'm sorry, bro. That stuff wasn't made for you. God didn't like you that day. But those are the main reasons that we have issues that we need to pull our data back. So I'm going to tell you, 3, 2, 1. Have 3 copies of anything that you care about. Have 2 locations or 2 physical mediums that these things are in if you care about it, and have a copy of it off-site if you care about it. If you don't care about it, then it doesn't matter. All right. Your digital footprint is, I'm going to tell you to guard your digital footprint. And you're going to go with, we'll start off with, well, what's my digital footprint matter? I have a weird story. So my friend Peter is an okay electrical engineer. He just got a job with an expert witness company for almost $300,000 a year because he has no digital footprint. Because as an electrical engineer for an expert witness, what's going to happen is lawyers will cross-examine him, and if they can go through your chat logs, your Facebook shares, and they find anything controversial or going toward this case, then they can use that to sow doubt in the jurors' minds. Now, you're going to go, well, what do I need that for? There are 2 types of jobs in this world. The job that you find and the job that finds you. The jobs that find you are looking at your digital footprint. They're looking at what you present out in both the professional and personal to add to their business. Hackers can exploit your personal data for financial crimes because if you leave too much information out there, they can answer those questions that banks ask. Websites track your activities and that puts your privacy at risk. I do know people that are victims of spousal abuse that do not want their face online because the person that they are hiding from or going away from could track them down, and they don't want to have those. So consent is another portion of this digital footprint. When you add a picture to Facebook, make sure that everybody wants to be in this picture. Old or inappropriate content can resurface and harm your career and relationships. Because you doing a keg stand in college people, may not look too good to that financial firm that you're trying to get a job with when they look through your social media, which at this point in the game, they are definitely looking through your social media. So what I'm asking you to do for this portion is to check the privacy settings on all of your media accounts. I'm asking you to delete old accounts that you don't use. Oh, that's okay. I'm so old that I don't remember what was the thing before Facebook. Okay, I need to go and delete that account because I know there's some bad drunk pictures of me on MySpace that I need to get rid of. But we need to go through. No, has anybody been to MySpace in a hot minute? So that is definitely an account, and that happens as we get more and more social media. Mastodon may die in a couple years. Well, you're going to need to clean up that Mastodon account because when they're looking through for that check of you, they're going to look through all social media that they can get their hands on. The next thing I can tell you is have a spam account and a public facing email account. Because you just don't want to deal with the spam that you're going to have to deal with. It's it's annoying. It's going to clog up, and I don't want to dig through my work email with spam just to get by. And I'm going to ask you to lock down, weirdly, both your phone and your credit. Esperon will allow you to lock down your credit to where if you don't need to use it, then you can say, hey, anything that tries to go against my credit account, please deny until I log in with MFA to prove that I am me. You can now do this with both your phone account to make sure you can't be SIM jacked or copied, to make sure nobody can do anything. And you go, well, why would I need that one? Crypto wallets is the main issues there because most people's backup for their crypto wallets is to call their cell phone for a form of MFA and have people figure that out. Yes, people have jacked crypto wallets for millions of dollars, which I don't believe you should probably keep that much in a crypto wallet that you have access in your phone, but has it happened? Yes. Somebody stole an entire cryptocurrency, Dreamcoin, 2 years ago in California and has finally had to go under charges for that one. So lock your phone, lock your credit. If you do fall victim to any of these things, don't keep it secret. Actually, go out and find cybersecurity professionals either at your work or the police to deal with this one, because letting it fester is harder to fix that problem. So that's why we want to watch our digital footprint. Anything that you have put out there, you want to make sure that you can either pull back at some point or that it's something that portrays you in a light that you wish to be portrayed for, because when we're now doing background checks for jobs, they are checking all of this. Now, if y'all have any questions, please feel free. This will be the last one that we do here. We'll be doing one more in Round Rock with a special guest from IBM that'll be going over AI and its new improvements to cybersecurity.
Oh, any websites that you would recommend that can help out with minimizing your digital footprint? Like I know, for example, when you Google yourself, you usually kind of want to see what comes up, and that can kind of give you like an idea of like, okay, maybe
Google
you want.
yourself. Know Before is a really good one
Oh, no
for
before.
for that identity tracking, and there's a couple other ones that I can't think of off the top of my head. But we want to. Every time I make a new account, I write it down so that I know all the accounts that I made, because I'm pretty sure before I started that method, there's probably about 10 accounts somewhere that I know that I want back. Now, the other thing I can tell you, please, please, please make another password for every time you make a new account, because I'm not saying you gonna get broken into. I'm saying they gonna get broken into. And if you use that password for everything else, there's a whole dark web repository of breach sites, which you can check in haveibeenpwned.com to see if you're on any of these lists, so that what happens is people go, okay, let me go grab these emails and these passwords. So if they used it in one place, I know they've probably used it somewhere else. Let me go see where else they're at, which is also in your digital footprint. Yes, ma'am.
What about like when you're browsing in like an incognito mode or anything? Does that still track all your information?
Okay, so that doesn't track all your information on that machine. Now, if you're asking me, Unlike a VPN, does your service provider still know where you went? Yes, they do. If you're asking me, does the person that controls your firewall or router, your tech savvy spouse know? Yes, yes, they do. The only thing you're hiding that information from is the computer that you are currently on, which is why I always recommend a VPN. Um, I mean, granted, I have a whole sandbox for doing dirt. That's me. By sandbox, I mean I have a virtual instance that has a browser inside of it that does nothing else but go to sites that I'm worried about giving me something, or when we're testing out to see if this site it has malware. That way, the only thing it can affect is a virtual environment that I can reboot in 2 minutes and it's completely new. Yes, sir.
Do you have any preferences on what kind of VPNs to use? Like, do you have any personal favorites?
Okay, so I cannot recommend one because the school doesn't recommend one. Proton and Nord are some of my personal favorites, but if you're asking me, I roll my own. Like I literally have a Palo Alto PA 220 at my house, two internet connections. One is Starlink, one is AT&T Gigapower, and I have the VPN mode turned on so that I can log in via that IP address, make an encrypted connection to my own home, which then gives me access to the data that's stored there on my NASs and then lets me go out through my house. But I'm a giant tech nerd, which also, if you get a Firewalla, it's a little bitty purple box that comes pretty much a Tony in a box that will help you be able to set those things up. And I think they're really well priced at under $200. Now, granted, I prefer a real firewall, but if I were recommending, it's what's at my grandma and my mother's house. If anybody's got any other questions, all right, then we have free swag here. If it's on the table, you can have it. I do not want to tote it back to my office. Thank you all for coming out. We will be in Round Rock on the 30th with our presenter, Michael Mallory from IBM. He's the cyber evangelist for IBM. If you're looking for a job in cybersecurity, I would say you might want to come talk to the man. All right, thank you guys.